I'm trying to get the birds outside flying while we're eating the food across the fence. At least 2 minutes of it, if I can get it. I just got through feeding them chicken. You can do it while I'm here. I'll have to do it from the car.
And sad. And I felt terrible. And I wanted to say something in that moment, but I just froze and I didn't say anything. And for the first time, Margaret took her martini and she went to sit at a table and she drank alone. And I stayed back in the car alone and watching. I went home that night and I just felt terrible about it. It felt like maybe I had robbed Margaret of something. Like maybe the one moment in her day where she felt like her old self. Just a smart, witty woman having her favorite drink at the bar and chatting up the cute bartender. And with that one thoughtless remark, I had turned her into a sad old lady with memory problems. It made me realize how special Margaret had become to me, for reasons that I couldn't quite put my finger on yet, but I sensed that it had something to do with catching a glimpse of a person who had actually lived the fabulous French life that I was only dreaming about. I knew that I needed to apologize to Margaret, but it was several days until my next shift. So I waited feeling anxious and nervous, and when the day finally came, I went into work ready to face Margaret. She came to the bar, ordered her martini. I made it for her, and just as I was sliding it across the counter to her and getting ready to say I'm sorry, she looked at me and she said, "Did you ever hear what Dorothy Parker said about martinis?" And I felt so relieved, and I took the out. "No, Margaret, what?" And I'm not even sure if that was Margaret's way of forgiving me, or if she simply didn't remember how I'd snapped at her the week before. But either way, it was a moment of grace that I've always been thankful for. After that, Margaret and I continued as we had before, only now I was really making efforts to be present with her. I wasn't going to sit on the sidelines anymore. I was going to be with my friend. So now it was summertime, and I was really feeling ready to take a small step into my life. So I made the decision to quit the bar job and look for something a little less geriatric.
They're only open for like 3 days a week for 2 hours a day.
I told my boss that I was leaving, and on my last shift, he announced my departure to all of the residents.
There you go. Now I'm getting the birds.
I said some polite goodbyes, and for Margaret, I gave a hug and said, "I'll miss you." As the new school year began, I got a job working at the campus bookstore. And I was hoping that that would help me make some friends. And to a degree, it worked. I made friends with my coworkers and became pretty recognizable to everyone on campus. And after that, it became harder and harder to stay on the sidelines. I would love to be able to say that my fabulous French life just showed up after that. But of course, it's taken many, many years.
Birds flying over the other trees.
Small steps to build
That's what I was
a
looking
life
for.
I love. I think meeting Margaret planted